Let's talk about UFC 326, Holloway versus Oliveira, and man, was this a weird card. Normally I just talk about the fights front to back, but let's talk about the main event first and then everything else later, man. Because the main event was weird, really upsetting for me as a huge Max Holloway fan. Charles Oliveira dominated him over 5 rounds. Max Holloway showed great submission defense. No one in the history of the UFC has had Charles Oliveira on his back for more than 5 minutes and survived. Like seriously, it's insane how much he defended, but he did not really get up, couldn't get up. Oliveira was not having any of it, did not want him to get up, which is understandable. Obviously, Oliveira's grappling is definitely better, but Oliveira was also having some success on the feet. Max Holloway really couldn't get started because Oliveira was just absolutely pressuring the hell out of him and then going straight into the takedown. So Max had to think of the takedown threat, therefore could not get his hands going because of that. So in result, the fight was really boring. Like the vibes in my house watching it with my friends were atrocious. Seriously. Yeah, everyone likes Charles Oliveira. We all probably like Max Holloway a little more, but seriously, man, the vibes were atrocious. Just a terrible way to end the night off a card that's already not amazing. Just kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth. But let's talk about the BMF belt itself, because this was for the BMF title. If you don't know, it was created when Nate Diaz wanted to fight Jorge Masvidal and called it the baddest mother effer belt for the, you know, toughest guy, the most entertaining, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a made up belt, but I feel like people started liking it and it became cool with Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Max Holloway all fighting for the belt because they embody BMF. You know, they're really entertaining, fan favorites, strikers who have ground game but prefer to strike, have power, really fun fighters. Charles Oliveira also fits that category. He's a very fun fighter, fan favorite, has a lot of knockouts, a ton of submissions, really good on the feet, really good on the ground. But for this fight, it just didn't really take place on the feet, man. Like, it was a snooze fest. And I'm not gonna be one of those people that say, oh, Oliveira should have let him up, should have just struck for fun. Like, he wants to win, obviously, but that's why the BMF belt's kind of a problem, because it insinuates that you should strike and should make it as fun of a fight for the fans as possible, because it's this, you know, made up belt. So it's kind of a predicament, you know. Oliveira obviously wants to win, and his best course of action to win is to make it boring. That's the highest chance for him to win the fight. That's exactly what he did, and he won extremely decisively, so good for him. But like I said, this is a problem because it's for the BMF belt, and now a lot of people are not happy with Charles Oliveira for the way he fought and the way he won that title and now holds it and now has to defend it, and so he'll probably keep fighting like that for the title. I don't know, let me know in the comments, guys. Maybe they should just get rid of the belt. I kind of feels weird to just take it away from Charles, you know, like they wouldn't have taken it away from Max if he won, obviously. So I just don't know. It's just a really weird situation for the UFC and for the fans and for the fighters. It just made a whole mess, and it kind of holds up the division. And right now there are 3 belts in the lightweight division: the undisputed belt, the interim belt, and the BMF belt, which is insane. There should be only 1 belt. So does the BMF holder deserve a title shot because he is like at the top of the division? But there's also an interim champion, Justin Gaethje, who, as it was announced, is fighting the champion Ilia Topuria. So what does Charles Oliveira do? Defend his BMF belt against a fan favorite guy, or just defend his BMF belt against someone who makes sense in the rankings? Because you would think the BMF belt would be 2 guys that maybe don't make a ton of sense in the rankings but are super fan favorite entertaining fighters, and they should fight each other for the BMF belt. But now that Charles is the BMF champ and he won the belt in that fashion, I don't really know what they're gonna do. Like, if the BMF belt becomes Charles versus Arman Sarukian and they grapple it out for like 5 rounds until someone maybe finds a sub or someone wins by decision, is that really BMF? And then Arman, let's say, is the BMF champion, he fights the next guy. What if the next guy isn't a fan favorite fighter, but it makes sense for him to fight Arman, you know? Should he fight Arman but not for the BMF belt? Should the BMF belt be on the line at all? He's the BMF champion, so it should be, right? But it wasn't when Max moved down to 45 to fight Ilia Topuria because it's a 155 belt, even though the BMF belt was created at 170 and they moved it at 255 anyways. It's so weird and confusing. So what's gonna happen with the BMF belt? Is it gonna stay forever? Like, I guess it stays until the champion retires with it. So let's say no one retires the BMF belt and we have some random BMF holder in 5 years and the belt is still around. Like, that's really weird. The UFC's got to make a decision to take it away or hope that someone just retires with it and that's it, the BMF belt is done. It's also confusing for casual fans. I remember watching UFC 300. I was a fairly new UFC fan and I was like, what the hell is a a BMF title bout. Like, what does that mean? I was doing research. I'm like, what the hell does this mean? Why is it a random like belt? There's the gold belt and there's also a silver belt. It's so weird and confusing. It's a good idea just to have a fan favorite fight, striker battle, just going crazy, pointing down to the center of the octagon, baddest guy, right? But like, we didn't see that Saturday night. I'm sorry. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what should be done with this belt, because there's so many ways that UFC could go and none of them feel super right for me. It's just a sticky situation. But as I previously mentioned, let's talk about the rest of the card real quick. First fight of the night, Rodolfo Bellato beat Luke Fernandez in a okay fight. Like, Luke was winning until he wasn't and Rodolfo clipped him. It was pretty weird. But props to Bellato for finding that win after that really weird no contest against Paul Craig, where he may or may not have faked it. I don't know. I'm not saying he did, but you know. Then Dair Nurgajai beat Rafael Tobias as a underdog. So 2 underdogs in a row, which is pretty crazy. Not a super fun fight. Then Suma Derji beat Jesus Aguilar. I thought this was a pretty fun fight. He was the favorite. He has a big reach advantage and he just like slapped him around like this, you know, did not let him get close. Jesus was jumping with hooks, trying to knock him out, and he just didn't. Then Niam Jargal Tumen Denbarel beat Cody Durden. I think we all saw that coming. He was only not that big of a favorite, but okay, decent UFC debut for him. Then Alberto Montes beat Ricky Tercios. Looked very good. Good striking, good grappling, very well-rounded guy. Excited to see him in the UFC. Then Dante Johnson, as a massive favorite, could not finish Cody Brundage, which is pretty crazy. I feel like we see this a lot in the UFC, where a super high prospect goes against a random guy, and after he knocks everyone out, he just doesn't knock this guy out, and then everyone is like, okay, is this guy not that good? I still think Dante Johnson is a really good fighter, but he needs some development. Then in the weirdest fight of the night, Cody Garbrandt beat Zhao Long. As an underdog, Zhao Long was winning the whole fight until in the 3rd round, he kicked him low, and then Cody threw up in the octagon. I don't think we've ever seen that happen, and he actually continued to fight. It does say in the rules that if that happens, a fighter should get disqualified, and it should be a TKO for the other guy, but it was due to a low blow, and the timer was paused, so I think that's why it kept going. But then Zhao Long kicks him again, or knee this time, so he gets 2 point deductions, double point deduction, which is insane, and the decision goes to Cody Garbrandt, which is pretty crazy. After the first point deduction, Cody got super mad, tried to charge at him, drew a flying knee, started going crazy. Then it happened again, and then the tables switched. Cody Garbrandt said, okay, I could win this fight if I just coast, should not risk it. So he started running away from Zhao Long, and Zhao Long started chasing him. It was a Tom and Jerry ass fight, man. So Cody picked up the decision win, but honestly, I thought they could have given it to Zhao Long anyways. The judges had it 29-28, Zhao Long minus 2 points, therefore it's 28-27 Cody. But I kind of had it 30-27 Zhao Long, guys. Seriously, like I thought Zhao Long could have won that fight even with a double point deduction, but whatever, it was close, so I'm not super mad. I wouldn't call it a robbery. Then Gregory Rodriguez knocked out Bruno Ferreira, put some life into this card. Pretty insane, pretty much the same punch as Bruno Ferreira knocked him in the first fight. Now they're 1-1. This rematch didn't make a lot of sense, but I guess it did, since they're 1-1 now. You know, Gregory got his redemption, which is pretty crazy to see. Bruno's been looking really good recently. Gregory's been kind of hit or miss, but he got him, so props to him. Then Drew Dober, and perhaps the best moment of the night, knocked out Michael Johnson in the 2nd round. I was really worried the fight was going to get pulled due to the irregular betting activity, as happened with Michael Johnson's previous fight against Alexander Hernandez, but good thing it didn't get pulled. UFC said there was no malicious stuff going on, so it happened, and Drew Dober won by 2nd round knockout. That is a shot you can't fake, guys. Drew Dober absolutely slept him, hit him with a crazy bomb. Props to him, man. Michael Johnson's been looking very good recently, and Drew Dober looked better that night. Then Raul Rosas Jr. had a pretty boring fight against Rob Font. I feel like we all saw that coming. We all knew he was gonna win, and he did. Props to him. He's very young. Beating Rob Font is a pretty big statement. He's in the rankings now, but man, I don't know why the UFC is pushing this guy so much, because he's just not a very entertaining fighter. He's like the Jailton Almeida of bantamweight. Seriously, entertaining personality, sure, but seriously, guys, not super excited to see him fight. I don't know about you, maybe you guys are fans of him, but me personally, I think he's a chill dude, but I'm just not really excited to see him fight. When I see him on a card, I'm like, okay, cool, but otherwise, yeah, okay, fine. Then Caio Borralho beat Reinier de Ridder in a pretty fun fight. I saw people saying that Reinier de Ridder should not have been such a big underdog, and he was, and I guess the betting odds were correct, because Caio did beat him pretty decisively. It was 30-27, which I think is insane. I had it 29-28, clearly, very clearly, 1 round to RDR, 2 rounds to Caio. I think a lot of people would agree with me, and every single judge had it 30-27, which is pretty crazy, but the right person won, which is cool. Caio looked very, very improved, hands down, very slick, but the problem is both these guys have a terrible gas tank. They both gassed out in the third round and it was very sloppy. But for the first round, Kyle looked amazing. Props to him. He should fight DDP next. I agree. Really fun fight if he's not fighting Brendan Allen. But yeah, man, fun fight. So yeah, the card was pretty hit or miss until the main event, and it just didn't stick the landing. So I think this is one of the worst cards we've seen in quite a bit. Is it worse than Aspinall versus Gon? Probably not, but it's up there with some of the worst cards of the last 2 years, guys. Seriously, out of the numbered events, of course. And the Paramount production was a little weird. The lights were going out in the octagon for a while. The first fight of the night, they didn't put the commentary on in time and it was on the wrong camera or something. And also during the main event, the Paramount app crashed for everybody. It crashed and we missed like a minute or something, but you know, not terrible, but still pretty crazy. It crashed during the main event. But yeah, guys, like kind of a dud. I'm really rooting for the UFC to improve their product. I think they have been with Paramount. This year has been on the up and up, but seriously, guys, this card wasn't mind-blowing. They also announced the White House card, and let's talk about that real quick. We have a pretty fun card, I guess. I just like, it would be good if there were prelims. Like seriously, it would be a very good card if there were very stacked prelims, but it's just 6 fights, and the 6 fights themselves aren't mind-blowing. It's not the greatest card in the history of mankind, honestly. Seriously, guys, like, I'm sorry, but that's what I think. You guys could have your own opinion, but let's go through the card real quick. Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia is a very, very fun fight. I love that one. I think it's gonna be a knockout. Cool fight. Anyone could win that one. Then we got Bo Nickel versus Kyle Daukaus, which is crazy. I don't think that's a fight that deserves to be on a main card, or not the main card, sorry, the only card, the card of the White House. 2 unranked guys, like, come on. They want to push Bo Nickel so bad, like government mandated Bo Nickel fight. Like, that's a tweet I saw, but it's pretty crazy. He was on the main card of 300 versus Cody Brundage, like seriously, versus Cody Brundage, and now he's on here versus Kyle Daukaus. Like, Kyle could even win that fight. Seriously, Kyle's pretty good, but all my friends were like, who is Kyle Daukaus? They didn't even know who Steve Garcia was. I think that's a little crazy, but Kyle Daukaus, like, not a big name at all. A really, really weird placement. I don't think it deserves to be on here. Like, seriously, I don't see the fight being super entertaining either. Like, I think it probably goes to decision. Then we got Mauricio Rufy versus Michael Chandler. Absolute banger. I heard rumblings that it was gonna be BSD versus Chandler, and then BSD, I guess, is injured or something, I guess, according to Dana White. But yeah, I love the Rufy fight. I think it's a really fun fight. I think Rufy's going to destroy him, but Chandler did have a full camp for McGregor, and Rufy has a similar style to McGregor, so there's that. Chandler has that little bit of advantage there, I guess, but I think Rufy's going to destroy him. That's something I like about this card, though. It's not American layups. I thought this card was going to be fighters coming out of retirement and American layups and fights that make no sense in the rankings. Every single one of these fights makes sense in the rankings, and they're not layups for Americans. I love that. Seriously, UFC, that is a great thing. Then we got Sean O'Malley versus Ayman Zahabi. Corey said that Sean O'Malley was ducking him, so they gave him Zahabi instead. Sean O'Malley really wanted to fight. He just arguably won a robbery against Chito Vera. Now he's getting Sean O'Malley. Pretty crazy, but that's what you get for not finishing Song Yadong, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. It's probably going to go to decision. Both these guys are tough. I don't see anyone getting a finish here, but yeah, don't hate this one. Then in the co-main event, we have Alex Pereira moving up to face Cyril Gane. Tom Aspinall is still out, so this is for the interim heavyweight championship. I guess John Jones, they couldn't figure it out with John Jones. John Jones is mad on Twitter. Dana said they haven't even been talking to him as, you know, a potential fight for the White House, which is pretty crazy. John Jones said they're lying, so maybe there's some beef there behind the scenes. Who knows? But yeah, this is still a fun fight. I did predict it's going to be Pereira versus Jones, but this is still very interesting. I think it could go either way here. I think it's fairly 50-50. Both guys have some advantages in different areas. You know, Pereira has the power, Gane has the speed. It's going to be a fun one. It's probably going to be a striking battle. I'm excited. And in the main event, we have Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. I think we all saw that coming, but I personally thought they would go a different direction because of the fact that Ilia Topuria is just going to destroy Justin Gaethje. Like I said, I thought they're going to give Americans layups on this card. Like, if an American loses early in the fight, in the card, it's not that important, but on the main event, if the American gets brutally slept and then the event's over, that's it. Like, that's pretty crazy. That's a bad look for America. American getting slept on the White House by a foreigner. Like, it's pretty insane that they're going to do that. Props to UFC for having the balls to do that. But yeah, Topuria is going to destroy him. Seriously. They're going to have to break Ilia Topuria's legs or give him norovirus or have a monkey banging on his door so he doesn't sleep or something like that, man. They need to have some kind of stipulation or handicap for Topuria to not absolutely destroy him, because he will. I'm sorry, guys. I did doubt Justin Gaethje in the Paddy Pimblett fight. I'll apologize for that. You know, he's always dangerous, always has a chance. Every fighter does, but I think he should be a ginormous underdog, and it'll probably be the biggest upset in in UFC title fight history if Justin Gaethje wins. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's everything that happened on UFC 326. Really weird card. We did get this White House announcement, but otherwise the fights weren't mind-blowing. So let me know, guys, what did you think of this card? What do you think is next for the BMF belt and for Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway? And that's it, guys. See ya.